friends, and welcome to, I think, a kind of an impromptu cooking segment. I actually wasn't going to do one today, and then I realized I would be having dinner alone. My husband drives for DoorDash, which is a food delivery service, and he often pretty much drives through all of the food delivery rush hours, including lunch, sometime, kind of between lunch and dinner, and then dinner. So sometimes his workday goes from 10 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock at night. So I realize I will be having dinner alone. And I know that very often when people have a meal alone, they tend to decide, oh, why bother? This happens to both single people and people who just happen to not have their significant other at home at that point of time. They just say, oh, it's just me. Why should I bother pulling out the dishes and the food and all of that? I am very, very against that attitude. Since my husband had worked as a consultant for many years, he traveled a lot, so I often had to have dinner alone. And I realized that it was all the more important for me to take care of myself while I had to take care of the house and the animals while working my regular job and doing all of my other stuff. It was more important than ever when he was away. And so I got into a habit of planning and preparing meals for myself and eating them on real plates with real cutlery and, glasses and wine and all of that, because I deserve to be taken care of. Yes, it does take a little bit more effort, but I think it's very rewarding in the end, when you're looking at this beautiful plate that you made for yourself. First of all, you should be proud if you can cook a meal. I think it's an awesome thing, because it was just so much easier to just pop a box into the microwave. But I think when somebody takes time to prepare a meal for themselves or for other people, I think it's a great thing. It's an amazing thing. Food is a great unifying factor, I think, for us all. We might have different political views, we might have different religious views, but we all have to eat. And that's why some of the weirdest families we hear about come together at the table. So, here's what I will be making today. I have some beef marinating since early afternoon. It's marinating in red wine with some onions. I have a little bit more onion. I have some Brussels sprouts. I have some mushrooms, and I might or might not use the seasoning blend. I also have some black bean spaghetti that I will be using. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm very fortunate to have a microwave that also is a convection oven. It's very handy. If you have an opportunity and the means to invest into that, I strongly recommend it. So before I did anything else, I set my convection oven to preheat at 400 degrees. You can do the same thing in your regular oven, just on your stove. Preset it to 400 degrees. The difference is that the microwave is much smaller, takes less energy, and it heats up faster. While it's heating up, I'm going to prepare my Brussels sprouts by slicing them lengthwise into large slices like this. So let's get them done, and I put them in a bowl because I will be seasoning them. So here we go. That's done. All right. Now I am going to add a little bit of olive oil. Add, hang on a second, not pepper yet. Add some balsamic vinegar. Now we add some freshly ground pepper. I prefer to grind it fresh. It smells so much better and tastes better. And I'm just going to shake it up to coat it. All right. Then I'm going to go ahead and put it onto the tray. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish it with my pink wine rosemary finishing salt. Once the microwave is done preheating to 400 degrees, or your oven is done preheating, go ahead and pop it in for 25 minutes. While I'm waiting for the Brussels sprouts to cook for 25 minutes, I'm going to prepare other things. I'm going to cook with my meat and my pasta. So I'm going to add a can of mushrooms drained to the bowl. I'm going to cut in some onion. And I am a huge onion lover, so I like my onion cut large. I would never cut it this big if my husband was having this, but this is for me, so I can do this. I'm going to add some of the seasoning blend, which has a little bit more onion. Also has red and green bell pepper, parsley, and celery. So put that away. All right. Put that away. Put that away. Right. I'm going to use the same method to season it as I did. The only thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to add the balsamic vinegar, because this will have some of the wine I used to marinate my meat. So I'm also debating whether or not to add the salt. I think I won't. I think I'm just gonna leave it with the pepper. Next, I am going to get my little steaks out of the bag where I had them marinating, but leave the rest of the content, which is onion and the red wine, in there. I'm going to use some salt and pepper to season them as I wait to cook them. I'm going to season them on both sides. Next, I am going to start getting ready to cook my black bean spaghetti. I have been really enjoying these from Explore Cuisine. I have, I think, another one, the white bean spaghetti and edamame spaghetti, and I really like them. They are kind of lower in calories, but high in protein. So really recommend these, and they take on flavoring really, really well, go well with pretty much anything. So I really recommend these. But in order to beef up the flavor, pun intended, I'm not going to cook it in water, cook the pasta in water. I'm going to cook it in my homemade turkey stock. So this is the turkey stock I have a lot of. I made this from the Thanksgiving turkey. Last Thanksgiving, my in-laws were generous enough to give me both turkey carcasses because we have a big family. They prepared 2 turkeys. And so there were 2 turkey carcasses, and I had a field day making turkey soup and turkey stock. And so I still have some. I will have some left, so we can always use it for something else. But I'm just going to use it just like you would normally use water to cook something. I'm just going to use stock. And remember, I don't pre-salt my stock, so I might add a little bit of salt to this, just the tiniest bit. I don't like things over-salted. So, gotta just heat it up, bring it to the boil, and put the pasta in. There we go. As my stock gets to the boil, and I pop my pasta in to cook, I can also start preheating my frying pan with a drizzle of olive oil as I get ready to cook the steaks. As soon as the oil starts to sizzle, I'm going to go ahead and drop the steaks in. And I am going to cook them, I'm thinking right around medium, probably 2-3 minutes per side. But again, it's a judgment call. Check and see how the middle is looking. Depends on how you like your steak. So this is kind of, the art rather than science part of cooking. Watch your steaks and see how they look as you flip them over. But I'm thinking about 2-3 minutes per side. While my steaks cook, the pasta is ready. This pasta gets ready really quickly, and I'm going to set it aside. Now, I know you're all wondering, oh my God, she's not going to throw away all that beautiful stock. Of course not. I'm going to cook it down and create a red wine stock reduction for this, some of it. And some of it I'm going to cool down and put on my dog's dog food as a little treat for them. So the stock is not going to be wasted. I'm going to set the steak and the pasta aside for the meat to rest, and for the pasta, I'm just going to sit there covered. It's not going to get cold. Meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead, take my vegetables, and pop them into the pan with the same red wine that my meat was marinating in. And I'm going to mix it up thoroughly, and in a few moments, I'm going to add the stock to the mix. I have added the stock to the mix and turned the heat up to high, so my vegetables have a chance to basically stew in this nice mix of seasonings that I have added before, turkey stock, and red wine, and of course the dregs from the steak. While we wait for our vegetables to finish, our Brussels sprouts finish roasting, so they have these nicely roasted kind of round bits and a few crunchy bits. So we are just waiting for the vegetables, and we're almost ready to go. And we're ready. The vegetables finished just a minute after the Brussels sprouts, and I put them directly on top of the pasta. So the pasta now has basically that reduction on top of it, along with the flavor of the vegetables. And there is our dinner for one. Here we go. So I hope you enjoyed this very quick cooking segment, and I hope it inspires you to eat well regardless of whether you are with or without somebody. Please do take care of yourself. Allow yourself to enjoy good food and good wine and good dessert if that is what you feel like. Have fun cooking. Have fun coming out with new dishes and new recipes to enjoy. Thank you for watching. As always, Your comments are welcome, and I'm hoping to see you again soon.